Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Outside, the art and science of watch collection. Uh, what I want to do today is that I want to take a very brief look at three different brands that I don't know very much about. And these are brands that either some subscriber said, hey, what about this? And I hadn't heard of them and wanted to find out more. And the ones that I found I think are very interesting and deserve some kind of like, well, let's find out more about them. Not right now, just sort of an introduction to them. The first one is Atelier Complication. The watches. I think this was sort of the first watch. It was called a dual time. It's the movement is called the Architect Mechanic Number One. It's manual wind, 3 hertz, 21,600 semi-oscillations per hour, 42 to 48 hour reserve. You can see the both the movement, which to me is wonderful because you can see so much of it. I like watches that you have a good view of the movement. They have a couple different dials, and it's an interesting looking watch. Now, the interesting thing about this is that it's got two different prices. The prototype is 8,000 Swiss francs, and then there's a platinum version that came after the prototype. It was 29,000. So this is sort of a very interesting way of doing business. Basically, for those who get a subscription, they get this introductory lower price and pay in advance, and then later on, the price goes up. Now, I found this one, the one on top, in a pre-owned for 12,500. Okay, so that was one. Now the second one that it has, now there's another one on his website. His website is like a lot of watch websites. I hate to say it, they're not very clear. Now this one is another one called the Worldwide Perpetual Weekly Calendar. Now the guy's name is Vladimir Victor Nagot. He spent a number of years working for F.P. Journe, and the movements, you can see the movement on this one, really very impressive looking. He's got another one coming out, and it was, like I said, it wasn't a lot of stuff on this, wasn't very clear. This particular one has around the side of the back of the crown that it's movement number 2, but it doesn't tell you very much about it. So it's one of those newer kind of, I guess, watch companies that has great horology, but not the greatest information about them. So this is one I think is worth looking into. Now, $162,000 and $52, 1,602 and 52. I found this particular one on a Hong Kong site, and it was over $1 million Hong Kong dollars, and I translated it to that. Anyway, that's the first one. The second one is one that one of the subscribers said something about Renaud Tixier. Well, it turns out to be two people, Dominic Renaud and Julien Tixier. Probably mispronounced it, and I'm sorry for that. Now, the thing about this watch that really struck me, beside the fact that it's 18,000 semi-oscillations per hour, which I like, it has a micro rotor with what they call in the center a dancer. And what it's for is really interesting. the way any rotor works is by your movement. And micro rotors apparently don't move as much as the bigger ones that they have. Uh, and so what um, the Dominic Renaud decided to do was to make this special micro rotor with a middle part called the dancer. And every time somebody bumps their arm or watch or something during the day, it adds to this dancer and gets to a certain point, and there's a spring in there, and it releases the power to the mainspring. You know, really brilliant mechanical horology. I just love this kind of thing. This one, they're fairly pricey. This one was $89,750. But it's, again, this is a brand I think that's worth keeping an eye on. Might be something really good for you. Now this last one is one that I had seen a long time ago, called Pita Barcelona. This particular watch is called the Pita Barcelona Oceana. And I've known about Pita Barcelona for a long time. Anicito Pita is it's a Spanish company. I sort of looked at his watches as really interesting designs, but not as that much of interesting horology. Well, it actually is both, and this one just really blew my mind. The Pita Barcelona Oceana is a very, very thick watch, and but it will go down 5,000 meters. I mean, like, that's like 15,000 feet. Now, you're not going to do that in your swimming pool. So what did he do? Why is this interesting horology? Well, it doesn't have any holes in the case. And so, you know, there's nothing for the stem to go in and wind the watch. And, you know, so how did he do this? And it's a very thick watch because of I guess the pressures. You have to have sort of like make a mini vault out of the watch. And this one I saw at Horology by the Sea. By the way, Horology by the Sea seems to have a lot of interesting watches. This one is what he did, has some magnets that do the winding. And I'm not quite sure how that's done, but there are no holes in it, so you can't get in a stem to it, and you certainly couldn't be key wound. But Anicito had somehow worked with the magnets so that you can wind it that way. And it's self-winding too. So these are three brands. So I've got like I said, I've heard of Pita Barcelona before, but I just sort of thought, well, this guy's mostly a designer. I mean, the dial design and the case design. But boy, I tell you, after looking at this is really a very interesting watch company. I think that deserves further looking at. This particular one was used for $5,000 at Horology by the Sea. Anyway, if you have any other interesting watch companies that are doing some interesting stuff horologically, let me know about it, because I want to find out about them myself. It's an opportunity to subscribe if you like. And until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection.